Congressman Swalwell just delivered a devastating blow to Republicans who've been asking, why didn't Democrats act on Epstein? His response cuts through the hypocrisy with surgical precision. So, because you think we did nothing, you're going to do nothing too? What followed was a masterclass in exposing how political revenge can override justice for victims.
Gentleman from California.
Move to strike the last word.
Gentleman's recognized.
I have listened to my colleagues in this Epstein debate on the Republican side ask over and over, why did the Democrats say nothing during the Biden administration? I've heard TV anchors ask. In fact, I was asked this morning the same question. Now, put aside the fact that in 2019 I called on Andrew Acosta to resign because of his connection to the Epstein files, and I wanted to learn more about why Epstein was not prosecuted. Put aside what Mr. Raskin and Mr. Cummings did. Let's just take you at your word that Democrats said nothing. Is that a reason for you to do nothing? I don't understand the logic here that because you think the Democrats did nothing on the Epstein files in the Biden administration, that to own the libs, you now have license to leave sexual assault victims unprotected. It's just crazy that you hate the Democrats so much that you would let the most notorious child sex trafficker and the people connected to him not be held accountable because you want to own the libs. Let's just take you at your word. Okay, the Democrats did nothing. So you're going to do nothing is what you were telling me. The Democrats, of course, did not do nothing. But let me boil it down to a lesson that I have right in front of me every morning when a 6-year-old wakes me up around 5:45 and wants to watch the same movie over and over and over. That's Frozen. And there's a lesson in this film where Elsa is told by one of the trolls in the movie that if you can't see the future, all you can do is the next right thing. And having seen this, again, 100 times in the last couple years, my takeaway is if you don't know what's going to happen next and you can't change the past, all you can do is the next right thing. So even if you are right that the Democrats did nothing in the past, wouldn't the next right thing be to sign the discharge petition? Or are you so obsessed with just scoring political points that you would punish sexual assault victims? Is that who you are? I don't think that's who you are. When I listen to some of the legislation you propose on your side, I do believe sincerely you care about victims. And if that's who you are and you care about victims, sign the damn discharge petition. Okay, you can own us. I don't care. You can own us 1,000 times. If it gets us to 218 signatures, I will let you have whatever victory you think you're accomplishing. But it seems to me that you're more interested in telling me not to believe my own eyes, which is what the president is doing. The president is telling us not to believe our own eyes. And it's not just on the Epstein files and the birthday card. And by the way, guys, we can bring in a handwriting expert, but I have 2 eyes. And I know what that man's obnoxious signature looks like. And so do you. But Donald Trump has told us that he would end all wars on day one, that prices would plummet and jobs would soar. And where are we? Ukraine has never been weaker. We've never seen more jobs lost in America since Donald Trump was last president. Even conservatives are complaining about how expensive grocery prices are. And even his own health, he's trying to tell us not to believe our own eyes. Joe Biden looks like an Olympic athlete compared to a man who is hiding his illness. Donald Trump is a broken man who has broke his promises. And if we don't start checking him, we are going to be a broken country. So my friends, if you sincerely believe that Democrats dropped the ball and did not do enough under the Biden administration, then join us now in doing the next right thing and sign the discharge petition. Otherwise, you're telling sexual assault victims this is just about scoring political points, and they come last. I yield back.
Will the gentleman yield?
Yes, I yield to the ranking member.
Well, I did, just to add to your very eloquent statement there, it seems like these days every accusation is a confession. So the accusation is the Democrats have somehow changed their.
What Congressman Swalwell did in that exchange was more than a political response. It was a lesson in how accountability works versus how it breaks down when partisan loyalty overrides moral clarity. He didn't just answer the Republican talking point about Democratic inaction. He systematically dismantled the logic that turns victim protection into a political chess game. Start with the core question. Republicans kept repeating, why didn't Democrats do more during the Biden administration? Swalwell could have gotten defensive or listed Democratic actions. Instead, he granted the premise entirely. Let's take you at your word that Democrats said nothing, he said. That wasn't concession. It was a trap, because once you accept their framing, the follow-up question becomes unavoidable. So what are you going to do about it now? This is where Swalwell exposed the fundamental corruption in how some Republicans approach accountability. Their argument wasn't, we need to act because victims deserve justice. It was, we won't act because Democrats didn't act first. That's not governance. It's revenge disguised as principle. When you make victim protection contingent on political scorekeeping, you've already announced that victims aren't your priority. The discharge petition Swalwell referenced is a procedural tool that lets House members force a vote on legislation even when leadership opposes it. In this case, it would compel action on Epstein-related investigation. The fact that Republicans won't sign it while simultaneously complaining about Democratic inaction reveals their actual motivation. They want the political talking point, not the accountability. The broader pattern Swalwell identified extends far beyond Epstein files. Don't believe your own eyes has become a governing strategy. Trump's signature on birthday cards becomes a handwriting mystery. Economic promises become invisible successes despite visible failures. Health concerns become fake news despite obvious deterioration. This isn't politics, it's systematic reality denial that corrodes public trust in observable facts. When Swalwell mentioned Ukraine, job losses, and grocery prices, he was connecting the dots between institutional dishonesty and real-world consequences. Lies about foreign policy get people killed. Lies about economics leave families struggling. Lies about accountability let predators operate freely. Each deception makes the next one easier and the cost of truth higher. The ranking member's closing line, "Every accusation is a confession," points to a psychological pattern worth understanding. People often project their own behavior onto others. When someone repeatedly accuses opponents of corruption, abuse of power, or institutional manipulation, it may reveal more about their own methods than their target's actions. What does effective accountability look like in practice? Swalwell modeled 3 elements: factual specificity, moral clarity, and procedural knowledge. He cited specific actions, connected them to larger principles, and offered concrete next steps. That's how you move from political theater to institutional change. The stakes here aren't abstract. Sexual assault victims watching this exchange are learning whether their government treats their trauma as a policy priority or a political prop. Career prosecutors are watching whether evidence-based investigations can survive partisan pressure. International allies are watching whether American institutions can hold their own leaders accountable. Swalwell's challenge to Republicans was ultimately about institutional integrity. Do you believe in justice systems that work regardless of which party benefits? His offer to let you have whatever victory you think you're accomplishing wasn't weakness, it was calling their bluff. If your real goal is protecting victims, partisan credit shouldn't matter. If partisan credit does matter more than victim protection, then you've revealed your actual priorities. This moment crystallizes a broader choice facing American democracy. Do we want institutions that serve justice or institutions that serve power? The answer determines whether accountability becomes routine governance or remains a partisan luxury we can't afford when it's politically inconvenient. If you found this breakdown valuable, share it with someone who still believes institutions self-correct without public pressure. Contact your representatives and demand they prioritize victim protection over political protection. Because democracy survives only when citizens insist that doing the right thing matters more than scoring political points.